to visit with you, and you came to my office, and we touched briefly on the issue of pensions, and I'd like to follow up on that. Last year, right after I was sworn into the Senate, one of the first visits I made was to Duluth, Minnesota, to talk with a group of participants in the Central States Pension Fund. It's a multi-employer pension fund. And as you know, that pension fund and more than 100 others are projected to collapse in the next 2 decades, leaving at least 22,000 Minnesotans and maybe as many as 1 million people across the country without their retirement savings. And folks are scared. I'll never forget the conversation I had with a woman named Vicki who was talking to me about what was going to happen, and she said, "Tina, I don't have a plan B. My plan B is living under a bridge." And it really helped me to understand how important this is. And also, I came to understand how this issue affects businesses as well, because they've paid in. Businesses face millions in costs if these pensions plans fail. One business owner told me that his business, which he has spent 30 years building, is effectively worthless because of this pension issue. So I'd like to just ask a couple of questions about this. First, I assume that you believe in the union's right to collectively bargain for pensions and benefits and better working conditions.
I do, Senator.
And do you believe that the current situation is the fault of the workers in these plans?
Senator, you're referring to the challenges facing, for example, the Central States
Correct.
Plan. Senator, if I could, I guess, answer a little bit more broadly, when we think of the Labor Department, we often think, or I think many people do, of the role in the workplace right now when the person is in the plant, safety conditions, wage conditions, very important. But pensions are another very central part of what the Labor Department does.
Right.
And when I was at the Labor Department, we had to deal with the collapse of Enron and the impact that that had on the retirees or people who were planning on their retirement. And it was financially a monumental catastrophe, but that broke down into, I think, tens of thousands of individual men and women who were severely affected by that unexpected loss. And
through no fault of their own.
No fault of their own.
Right.
It's a weighty responsibility. And then with respect to the Central States particularly, I know, as I said in our meeting, which, again, I enjoyed too.
Generally.
Genuinely and in full. That's an historic, important plan. I can't claim that I know all of the things that have led to the problems it faces now, but it's no solution to blame it now on the workers.
Right. Would you agree, nor the businesses who paid in as well? And both parties did what they were supposed to do, which is to save.
I think there's been a confluence of factors, Senator, that has led to the problems, and I'm not steeped enough to know exactly what they are, but I do agree with you that something does need to be done. I think there's bipartisan recognition of that, and if I am fortunate enough to be confirmed, it's something that I would want to work with people on, because I think everybody recognizes the need to negotiate out some legislative solution.
And that gets to my follow-up on this. And I want to just thank Chair Alexander, who served with me on the Select Committee on Pensions last year. And though we weren't able to come to a resolution, I think that we did achieve some good education there. So, I support the Butch-Lewis Act, which would provide a long-term, low-interest loan to these troubled pension plans. And I think that Congress does need to act urgently, so I think maybe you and I would be in agreement on that. Even the Chamber of Commerce says that this is an urgent issue. So would you agree that we need to take urgent action on this?
Senator, I would agree that we do need to take action, that it needs to be a priority both for the workers that are affected and also for the solvency of the PBGC. That's the
Which is the other issue, right?
Right. That's the agency that the Secretary of Labor has responsibility for, in part, that insures pension plans and would face a serious, very serious shortfall if we can't find a solution here.
And would you agree that we ought to enact a program of long-term, low-interest loans to help the troubled pensions, as the Chamber of Commerce has recommended?
Well, just because the Chamber of Commerce says it doesn't mean I believe it's right, Senator. I would be interested in looking at the different approaches to be taken and finding one that helps workers and also helps taxpayers in the PBGC.
Well, as you and I discussed when we met together, this is a very important issue. It's an urgent issue, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Smith.